Time and time again, you are told what the budget is for Disney movies. And over, we come out and say, well, it looks like they're way over budget. It looks like the actual cost, now years later, was so high that there's no way they made any kind of profit. Well, folks, we're here to tell you today that it's far worse than it ever seemed before. It turns out that Caroline Reed of Forbes has the real details about Star Wars, the costs you won't believe, and it has many of us now wondering, how much money is Disney truly losing on the films we don't go see? Hello folks, welcome back one and all. Come heed the call for understanding entertainment and peeking back behind the veil of the House of Mouse. Folks, we are ready to expose exactly what's going on with Lucasfilm, with Disney, with Star Wars, with some numbers that are absolutely astronomically bad, and which may have been, shaded in a way that you were never going to see by the light of day. But you will now, thanks to Caroline Reed of Forbes, and we're going to show you how this does not find any kind of accord with what was being reported in the legacy access mainstream dinosaur going extinct media. Hang tight, folks. Click the like button, and here we go. All right, coming to you from thatparkplace.com, the website that if you're not yet bookmarked, well, you should be. This is written by some schlum over there. Who's that? Some schlub. Star Wars reported budgets dwarfed by actual costs. Is the industry hiding Disney's real expenses in a massive way?
That guy's a VI Pro member, so I had to print his article, Pro.
That's right. This is a huge story, ladies and gentlemen. I want to bring it to your attention now because the more people know about this, the less the legacy media is going to be able to trick you. Here's what it says. Investors and movie industry buffs might want to reconsider listening to quote-unquote reported budgets coming out of the trades in regards to Disney films. A new article from Caroline Reed at Forbes has shattered the narrative on what Disney is spending behind the scenes. When Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker premiered in December 2019, media coverage painted it as an expensive yet profitable conclusion to Disney's sequel trilogy. At the time, Deadline's Anthony D'Alessandro reported the production budget at approximately $275 million, making it the costliest entry of the trilogy. Combined with global marketing, advertising, and distribution, the film's total expenses reportedly reached about $627 million. In other words, about $250 million additional was claimed to have been spent on marketing. This was seen as an extravagant but justified, given the massive scale and anticipated box office returns. And early financial assessments suggested the film netted approximately $300 million in profit, which was behind The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Solo. But guess what, folks? There's new information now. Recent revelations paint a strikingly different picture. Caroline Reed of Forbes has just disclosed a drastically higher actual production budget of $582.3 million, more than double the original estimates. Reed's findings emerged from a combination of Disney's 2020 financial disclosure and industry interviews, shedding new light on the costly reality behind the saga's finale. Skipping down just a little bit, folks. In fact, we'll skip quite a bit. Go read the article. We really recommend you go read the whole thing, but for brevity, we'll continue. Disney somehow claimed to believe the movie was under budget. And you can see here that now we're finding out that Andor, the spend on Andor is $645 million. These budgets are out of control. The amount in which reported budgets out of Disney films are so far out of reality, it boggles the mind. It makes one question how and why this is happening. It is critical to emphasize that the $582 million figure exclusively represents the production budget, omitting substantial marketing, print, and advertising expenses, which typically add at least $200 million to blockbuster films. Accounting for these costs, total expenditures for The Rise of Skywalker likely approached an astronomical $800 million, significantly above the original $627 estimate, reported in 2019. Let me say it again, folks. They told you that the budget was in the 200s and that they paid a bunch in marketing. The real cost was more than double for production. How many times is this happening? What are the real costs on these movies? It turns out that The Rise of Skywalker, if these numbers are accurate from Forbes, and we have no reason to disbelieve them because she's actually pulling from tax documents, not from what industry insiders had to say, something like $1.5 billion is what it needed to break even at the box office. Goes on to say that if this is what's happening on a regular basis with movies like Captain America, Brave New World, every time they come out and tell you what the quote unquote reported budget is, you better approach that with extreme scrutiny, because what we're finding out 6 years later is it's a bunch of bunk.
Well, and that's a real problem, right? And this is a conversation that somebody like Carolyn Reed should be like exposing, and Forbes should be pushing hard, because this is manipulation of their stock, their investors. They have a duty.
Culture, let me jump in real quick, and then and then off to the races.
No, it's good. Go.
I think the way the game is played is we never find out where these reported budgets came from. So, like,
True.
They just say nebulously the reported budget is, but they never say Disney told us this. All right, that's what I'm going to insert for you.
Well, I would also like to say that we need to get to a point where we start to force transparency on any publicly traded company, because if absent it being a trade secret, which I can't imagine a movie budget is a trade secret, there's no reason not to give investors the fiduciary duty of assuaging their fears that their money is being poorly spent. The studios have not, in recent memory, been diligent about keeping their budgets, commiserate with the chance the movie will be successful or not. They're very what's the right word? They're very loose with the money, the purse strings, and that's been causing them severe harm. If Disney is several $100 million in the hole for this like the most recent Star Wars movie, they should be held accountable. I think we're doing a disservice to investors. It wouldn't matter if it's Disney or whoever, by not allowing them some kind of an insight in what's going on with their money. We're suffering the same situation that's being exposed right now at a federal government level. But I'm one of those people. I think corporations should be fully transparent with their shareholders, and they should. If you're one of your major investments in your company happens to be a film, and you produce 8 to 12 of those a year, you should be able to let your shareholders know what these things actually cost, because that will also be able to determine whether or not your studio heads are competent and whether or not they should be replaced. We would not have.
Well,
Kathleen, go ahead.
No. If people knew whether or not the studio heads were competent, then that would lessen Bob Iger's ability to hire and fire who he likes, regardless of their productivity.
Yes, there would be merit in those positions. That I'm all for that. You think that's wrong?
No. I'm saying that's why Bob Iger doesn't want anybody to know anything. This is why Disney Plus, they still do not actually report on the financials of Disney Plus. They want to hide so that they can do what they want, as opposed to doing what is right for the shareholders.
Well, guys, again, if they were off by 50 million, whatever. But when we have a reported budget of like 250, and if people are like, "Whoa, they're really spending big money. That's really expensive. That's the most expensive of the Star Wars movies," and the reality is 582. Like the articles aren't worth reading. The numbers aren't real. This is not even, they're not even close to approximating reality. And then we have this kind of stuff out of Screen Rant, that Andor is at 645. And I'm assuming that we know that because Andor has tax documents. Is that right? Is that how they know Andor?
Yes, Andor is still being reported on in the UK. So 645 so far on that one. And somehow still noted as within budget, according to Disney's documentation.
Right.
Is that all of Andor, or is that just the second season?
That's 2 seasons.
Okay,
so
I mean, at least there's that, but I mean, this again, it goes into what was recently reported about
Ron, that's an average of 322 million per season.
Yeah.
And this doesn't go into theaters, which means that can't really make any money back. That's the worst part of this. And it's also possible some of this money is being taken from parks budgets, which really bothers me.
Oh yeah.
But the other thing is that this goes into the recent story about Brave New World, because I saw it posted so many places and it was annoying the heck out of me. The $180 million budget for Captain Falcon. So many people were saying, "Oh, look, it made its money back in the first week because it made $180 million." And I'm like, it's so frustrating that people have no clue how this stuff actually works when it comes to budgets, how much the movie has to make on top of its budget, on top of its marketing, everything else before it can even break even. I mean, the even point for Brave New World, it's not even going to reach half of that.
No other company operates this way, Culture.
Well, no, they don't. And I'm just going to bring up the worst decision-making process ever. Actually, came from prior to knowing this new information, came from Netflix by giving the Russo brothers $320 million to make this most expensive flop film that they've got out there.
Wait a minute, Culture. Explain that. That's a big number, and some people out there might not understand. What are you talking about? Who are the Russo brothers? Give us.
Okay, so the Russo brothers are known for making some of the great Marvel films of all time, including, I believe, Endgame, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Yep, they were directors on. They started with Winter Soldier, if I'm not mistaken.
They did, and they're about to bring about the Dr. Doom bologna sausage that we're going to be subjected to, where Robert Downey Jr. is going to be at least starting out going to be Dr. Doom. We don't know where this is going to lead, interestingly enough. So they just produced a Netflix film that is one of the most expensive Netflix film ever made. And I think this is a third or fourth film that they've done for Netflix, but it stars Millie Bobby Brown, however you say her name, and Chris Pratt, right? And the movie cost $320 million.
That's actually not possible, Culture. I hate to push back on you, but you have to have this wrong. You didn't say Pedro Pascal, and I know he's in every single.
No. This is okay. Unfortunately, neither of them were there. Now, what this does, interestingly, is this makes it I believe the 6th most expensive movie of all times. Now, here's an interesting thing, especially since we were just talking about the recent Star Wars movie, right? Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides is still credited with the most expensive film at $410 million. I don't know. So the Star Wars doesn't count, because Avengers Age of Ultron was $365 million. Avengers Endgame itself was $356 million. Avatar The Way of Water was somewhere between $350 and $400 million. And Fast X, which was a disaster movie, was $340 million. Now, we know they're going to spend even more money on this, the Avengers Doomsday thing. So all I have to say is the price of films are going up and the amount of profitability is going down. Everything's going in the wrong direction. But when I look at a television show for $322.5 million per season, I think we've got a problem.
There's something that I've been wanting to bring up. Pro, there's a YouTube video that I was wanting to display.
I've never spent that much on a YouTube video.
You've never spent that much on a YouTube video?
No.
Well, apparently Disney does, because Andor, at least the first few episodes here, are now on YouTube for everyone to see. So ad supported right over here. Disney Plus has finally given up and put their show Andor on a platform that people actually watch. And it'll probably make more money on YouTube than it did on Disney Plus. So there you go.
I want people to understand what a big deal that is too. It is a huge deal that Disney is now putting they're putting Star Wars on their competitor. They
Premium.
can pretend YouTube is not a competitor. It is, and it is the dominating competitor in their space.
But it's worse than that, because this is their premium content. This is you have to pay extra for this content, and they're giving it away for free.
Yep.
That's right. You're exactly right. So as we get ready to wrap this particular topic, I just want to remind people. I want to remind people very clearly they're telling you the price of well, it won't let me add my screen. Huh. All right then, Jonas. Apparently you're
Yeah, it's a StreamYard. It made me remove mine before StreamYard. Like I said, there's a lot of changes that StreamYard is going through right now.
Oh, StreamYard, how you vex me today. They're telling us the amount they spent on Captain America Brave New World. They're telling us the amount they spent on Snow White. They told you the amount that they spent on Rise of Skywalker. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. It wasn't even in the vicinity of real. And I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the checkbooks and the actuaries at Disney. All I know is no other company out there spends this kind of money and makes it essentially impossible to break even, and then pretends as if something else is happening entirely. I don't know what the morals, the ethics, the requirements are. I just know from now on, when they tell me something costs something, unless we found it in the tax documents, and they really don't like it when we do that, but it's ethical, legal, and we do, unless we get it from the tax documents, I don't believe it, not one bit anymore. And I can confidently now say that I believe that Rise of Skywalker, Rise of Palpatine, was a financial flop for the House of Mouse. And I am not thinking that's going to change with either Brave New World or Snow White. The Hollyweirds don't understand how it is we do what we do, bringing you video after video every single day of the utmost highest excellence and quality. But folks, we do it because of you. We appreciate you. You are seen and heard here on the Pro Channel. Make your voices heard, folks, by doing one last thing before we say goodbye for a short time. Consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, and you know what? That notification bell, click it and stick it to the algorithms. Also, drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. And don't forget, folks, we've got even more content on the way. If you'd like to become a member, it's just the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of exclusive content beyond what the public sees, including archival footage of the Pro Show that goes away after just a few days from its public release. Folks, we hope we get the honor of spending time with you again soon, and until then, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.